We are. We're live.
Amazing.
On this Friday night. It's the 14th of December, 2018. Joe, we only got 11 days till Christmas.
Oh,
and,
there they are. I was looking for my glasses here. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
Yes. Joe Cioffi, Fios 1 News Long Island and Fios 1 News New Jersey.
And Joe Rayo, Lower Hudson Valley, Fios 1 News. And a rather interesting weekend ahead of us. I've been telling people all day long, Joe, that if they have anything planned out of doors this weekend, do it tomorrow, because Sunday, in a word, it's just going to be plain old nasty.
Yeah, you know what? For much of the area, for the exception being maybe in New Jersey, along and south of Route 195, after about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, everywhere else, it's probably going to be fairly quiet and cloudy. And in fact, I just looked at, I was doing some stuff for our newscast tonight at 10 o'clock just a little while ago, and I just happened to look at the RPM model, the new RPM model. It actually clears skies out here tomorrow evening across Long Island, northern New Jersey, and the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
Well, which then causes it to cause a little bit of snow on the northern edge of the precipitous. It comes back up early Sunday morning. I mean, I don't know about that so much. I've got this. I have a different idea of how things are going to play out for the weekend than what the RPM model that you see on the air sometimes, which is basically an average, by the way, of several short-range models. So if you take an average, you're going to wind up getting average results, and we don't shoot for average results. We shoot for exceptional results.
Well, as one person said, normal is abnormal.
That's correct. We shoot for exceptional results, and it's usually an exception that we hit that. All right. So really quick, though, before we get to the weather, I just want to let everybody know, because I don't know if everyone does know, just a little bit of shameless self-promotion, but if you have an Android mobile device, like a Samsung, for example, you can download my free weather app if you haven't already, and I'm just, whoops, that's not the link to it. Sorry about that. Let me just, God, I'm such a dope sometimes.
It's also Friday. So.
It also is Friday. So, yeah, so that is just gibberish. There's the link. I put it up on the chat board, folks. So if you've got an Android device, you can download that, and it's absolutely free. And if you're really into weather, you can think about jumping on my weather platform that's on Patreon, and that's just a couple of bucks a month. And you get live streams just for Patreon members, along with a whole bunch of other weather posts that nobody else gets to see, along with some stuff that everybody gets to see. But it's a pretty good thing, and people get to talk to me whenever they want. If you message me, I will respond to you in a timely manner.
And he does.
And I do. So think about that. The free app, the iPhone version, by the way, hopefully will be out soon. We're down to like the last nitty-gritty technical issues that we have to fix to satisfy the government of Apple. And we will, no, it's like, seriously, Google, Apple, it really, it's like the government. Technology has made it so that we could do things so fast, but creating it, it's like building a house. It takes forever, especially if you have to get permits, okay? It's just, you fill out a form and you sit there and wait. And
whatever happened to that show that used to be on ABC years ago where they'd build or rebuild a house in less than a week? Remember that?
Yeah, well, that does. Yeah, I do remember it.
Move that bus.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's around anymore.
No.
All right, so let's get going here. We got the new NAM coming out tonight, and both Joe and I are thinking that Sunday morning in Northwest New Jersey, which is what I cover on Fios, and also for you, the Hudson Valley, that there might be some freezing rain and sleet and maybe even some wet snow issues.
Yes, and in fact, especially I think along and north of the I-84 corridor in the Hudson Valley, there could very well be enough ice or snow. Well, I'm thinking more there's going to be more ice than snow, but then again, on November 15th, we saw a situation where the parameters or the criteria for snow were all off the wall. If we had followed the computer numbers straight, or if we had taken everything that was coming out on the input a month ago, we would probably have just gone for a cold rain or rain mixed with
it was borderline.
It was very borderline, but we ended up with more snow than anything else. And I'm a little concerned that something like that might happen again maybe not for the entire tri-state area, but especially so up in the northern sections of the lower Hudson Valley. Again, along and north of 84, but this is not to say that if you're south of 84, down to Lake 287, or even further south than that, that some pellets of sleet or ice or wet snow could mix in.
It wouldn't shock me. So, you know, the NAM tonight kind of matches up pretty well with the radar. So if we look at the radar, we actually have this sort of sliver of rain that is sitting between 195 in Jersey and Route 80 on the north end, 195 on the south end, and it kind of covers Long Island. But on either side of that, there's two gaping holes. This first surge of rain, Joe, is only going to get so far north tonight, then it's going to get pushed to the south.
Right.
And it might rain into early afternoon in the southern half of New Jersey, but I think for the northern half and for Long Island, for Connecticut, the Hudson Valley, pretty much most, if not all, of the daytime. So let's say after 7 a.m.,
right, most
of that time is going to be rain-free.
I agree with you. And in fact, in the northern sections of the Hudson Valley, most notably Orange County, especially north of 84, and places up in Ulster County or Dutchess County, there may be some pretty good breaks in the clouds by the afternoon, allowing for some pretty good views of the sun. That's sadly ironic because the places that likely will be the nicest tomorrow and the brightest tomorrow are the same ones that may very well get the worst end of the scenario that's coming our way on Sunday, because it'll be coldest up north and also maybe seeing more in terms of a wintry mix up north.
This is at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on the new NAM, so we're dry.
Right.
From 195 south, still getting some rain, but even there the rain kind of thins out in the afternoon, and then it starts lifting northward during the overnight. And here's where you see that freezing rain break out around 4 a.m. In the northern and western counties of New Jersey, in northeastern Pennsylvania. Then it moves up into the Hudson Valley, so now we're at 7 a.m.
Right.
It's mostly rain just south of 287. Then it kind of shifts it northward. I don't know if this is going to be exactly the way it looks, but it does seem to want to make it cold enough that it turns into wet snow later in the day, and this is Sunday evening, and then it just pulls away to the northeast. Little back edge stuff there in southeastern New England with the low so far out. And, you know, I think if you had two things here that were a little bit different, you probably could be dealing with something a bit more important. And what I'm driving at is, if you take a look at the jet stream, Joe, you've got these two streams, and you've got this southern stream, you've got this northern stream, and there's actually a pretty strong shortwave in that northern stream that tries to come down. It never phases with it. It stays separate. So it's really just this whole southern system that stays fairly vigorous as it moves through. You can watch that upper low, and it's the cold air that's being generated by that upper low that produces the cold air that we're going to have, because it's just, there isn't a lot of cold air around.
Right. So it's going to try to manufacture perhaps some.
Yeah, it's what I always used to call do-it-yourself cold air. In fact, we could bring up. Let's look at I'll bring up the temperature profile, so we can look at it from that respect. And I'll go super tight, and we'll go back. But there's that 32-degree line. You know, we're going through Saturday here, but here's that 32-degree line that gets actually into northern New Jersey, northwestern New Jersey, before midnight on Saturday night, and then we're at 4 a.m. So you can see where the southern edge of 32 degrees is. North and west at 287, and on up the Hudson Valley, Connecticut north of Route 15, and then by 7 a.m. it's got, you know, that freezing line, you know, pretty much stays the same. Then it starts kind of pushing northward, I guess because that low starts to develop a bit. You get a little, you know, a warm layer kind of pushes it up.
Do you think the colder air or the sub-freezing temperatures that develop in or around the after midnight hours tomorrow night is in part a function of the fact that you mentioned at the top of the show,
skies partially clear there,
the RPM clearing, and
that could be,
and suddenly you get the temperatures going like that.
Well, you know what? Look at let's go up at 4,500, 4,700 feet. So let's look at the 850. Okay, when you look at the 850, it's not that cold. Right. I mean, it's not cold at all. It's all above freezing, and you're getting that manufactured, do-it-yourself cold air because of the upper low.
Right.
I mean, this 850 is not cold enough for snow down on the coast. So I would think, like you said, sleet, freezing rain, maybe some wet snow when you start to go much further to the north, where those temperatures at 4,600, 4,700 feet are under 32 degrees.
And there was also a contradiction on the 12Z, the earlier run of the NAM. I'm seeing mostly freezing rain and sleet envelop the entire tri-state area, but then I go to the map indicating snow amounts, the total positive snow depth,
right.
And here that in the area where it's supposedly all ice or freezing rain, they're pumping out numbers of like 1, 2, 3 inches of snow.
Well, this is the one from 12Z, okay?
Right.
And you've got these 1 to 2 inch numbers. See, this is the thing. These maps are they're misleading, and because they're model driven on literal liquid precipitation amounts. I mean, are we to believe that there's going to be accumulating snow south of Route 78 and into western parts of Nassau County?
Yeah,
That's right.
It's
hard to imagine that.
It's hard to
imagine. Not with that 850 the way it is.
Well, maybe again, you don't look at this from the literal standpoint of you're getting 1 or 2 inches of snow, but maybe this also indicates places that at least early in the day on Sunday may see rain mixed with some pellets of ice or sleet or grapple or whatever.
Right. That's possible.
So it's not necessarily a snow accumulation, but still enough so that there may be some freezing or frozen precip mixing in. And in that case, I hope all of you who are watching and all of our viewers who will be watching this evening for the weekend outlook, if that happens and you happen to live, let's say, in New York or lower Westchester or areas maybe even just south of I-78 in New Jersey, and you happen to see Sunday ice or sleet or maybe even a few flakes of wet snow, don't be surprised, because this is something that could very well happen or is being suggested by at least some of the models.
Okay, so why don't you see if the foos is in?
You want me to go back there?
You want to do it on the other computer, or you want to do it on this one?
I can do that, yeah.
You like to always go to the other computer and yell across the room. We'll give it a sense of urgency, and then this way I can go to the chat board and start talking to a few folks. Seeing my regular YouTube crowd here. You guys watch way too much weather. Come on.
You guys should be watching I Love Lucy.
Daniel Kirby, Scott Briller, Rogue Code Jets fan. God, it's wonderful. Hey, Junior, things are good. I hope everything is well by you. Alexander Giolis. Yes, Patreon is available for iPhone. That's different from my app, but when the app comes out, that's also going to be available. It's also going to be available for iPhone as well. So you can have both. Okay, the app is free. Patreon's $2 a month. But by all means, give it a whirl. And okay, so you got the new foos.
Well, first of all, between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. tomorrow night and Sunday morning, at LaGuardia now they drop a solid ½ inch of moisture.
Really?
The vertical velocity, the vertical motion is plus 9.4. That's the max at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. And at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning, they have at LaGuardia a thickness of 549 and a T1 of 0. At T3 it's 0. At T3 it's 0, and at T5 it's plus 5.
Wow.
So that's pretty interesting. They drop all of that moisture in just a short 6-hour time frame between 1 and 7 a.m. on Sunday. After that, Joe, it peters out. Only a 1/10 of an inch at LaGuardia between 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. and between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. another 1/10 of an inch. And the boundary temperatures at the T1 level go up to plus 1 by 1 o'clock and plus 2 by 7 p.m. on Sunday. Meantime, the T5 level, the boundary temperature drops quickly to plus 1 at 42 hours and plus 0 at 48 hours. So it's right on the edge, borderline edge, in terms of cold temperature.
Don't you love when you get these?
How much comes down?
Now, Mr. Rossby, Carl Rossby says, look at the. He says the 4K NAM. You thinking he might mean the 3K NAM. To look at the soundings on the 3K NAM. Let me see if they're available.
And incidentally, at 24 hours, which is 7 p.m. tomorrow night, I noticed that the R1, the low level of the atmosphere, this according to the NAM-FOOS, gives 80% relative humidity. That, I've always considered 80% to be the boundary line between low-level cloud cover, broken and overcast, or anything under 80% more broken to clear or scattered. So it's not out of the question, at least from what I see here, that as we progress through the latter part of the day tomorrow, we could very well see some good breaks in the clouds and some cameo appearances by the sun tomorrow afternoon.
Well, that'll be interesting if that happens. I got the 3-kilometer NAM up, Joe. Bring it up. Bring up the map first, then we can see if we can pull up the sounding. Sounding's basically, a vertical. We're going to look at a vertical profile of the atmosphere according to what the model sees. And here's the map, folks. And you can see it there. There's that freezing rain that breaks out. And you got all this, light rain that goes on through the day. But it does, like you said, Joe, the 3-kilometer NAM also says this surge of rain that comes through in the morning. And then after that, it just kind of, thins out a bit.
In fact, I might also point out, Joe, that while we get a half an inch between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. on Sunday, according to the NAM-FOOS, just 150 miles north in Albany, during that same time frame, they don't get a flake, they don't get a drop.
Not a flake, not an ice pellet, nothing.
So
I'm just looking at this is a sounding, I picked a point up in northern New Jersey, and, actually like in Orange, right on where the Jersey line, the Orange County line, and
right.
Rockland line.
Right.
So you can see it's got the ground temperature is at 31, and it's got a dew point. I can't read it because the number is over, but like a 20-something dew point. But you see there's like this cold layer. Look how shallow that is.
Right.
And then you got this warm nose right at that 850 level before it drops. It's just like this little warm nose
right.
that's in there.
Right.
That's a pretty tight looking, sounding the temperature profile that it gives.
That's pretty. It suggests a brief burst of warm air advection, at least just above the surface,
mm-hmm.
and that burst is probably responsible for the plus 9.4 vertical motion, which translates into that quickie half inch
right.
that LaGuardia gets. So
yeah, if you had a little bit more cold air at that 850 level, the high is going up in New England. It kind of, when you look at the surface, it's the same dilemma that we had back in November
right.
is showing up. But the only thing is that the air in that November high this is more of a dirty high from
yes.
the standpoint of the cold air that's being produced.
Right.
It's not northern Canada air. It's just basic, let's call it southern Canada air, in the sense that there's some Pacific air mixed in with it because of the way the jet stream pattern is. So it's not this cold as that November high was.
The definition of a dirty high, in my opinion, is you get these high pressure systems that literally are overrun by moisture, dirtying up what is otherwise a clean cold air mass. This particular high, coming straight down out of Quebec, Canada, tomorrow night, is going to try to, in its own way, scour out the lowest level of the atmosphere. That's where the dirt or the moisture is. And it may partially, for a time, succeed in breaking the clouds up tomorrow afternoon. That's why I say that. And if we do get enough sunshine breaking through tomorrow, we had temperatures today that were hovering within a few degrees of 50. We may go for broke tomorrow and go well up into the 50s with a little bit of sunshine. But again, that sun is so low now. Winter officially, the solstice is next Friday. The sun is really down low, so you're not going to get too much help from Mother Nature.
Daniel Kirby, who's watching us tonight in his canoe in the Blue Ridge Mountains, is that foot plus of snow that he had has melted away, and now on his way to 100 inches of rain for the season. There's a lot of areas in the Mid-Atlantic, but particularly in North Carolina, in areas in North Carolina that are going over the 100-inch mark for precip, wow. And setting all-time yearly records in a lot of places. That is now, of course, a quarter of that is induced by Hurricane Florence,
right.
But 3/4 of it is not. So that's pretty impressive.
Right.
Mark Shepard, you're going deer hunting on Sunday afternoon in Flemington. You know what? It might piddle some rain for a while, but it might after whatever comes in tomorrow night into Sunday morning, you might get a bit of a break. Just so you know.
Well, it doesn't look like, as we just noted, Joe. It does not look like the heavy rain is going to be coming during the day on Sunday. It looks like, if we can believe at least the NAM, and we'll have a chance later tonight to peruse the other models, but the NAM is saying that the heaviest amounts are going to come while we sleep tomorrow night, and we'll still have only the leftovers around on Sunday. But again, Sunday's going to be so, as compared to tomorrow, the cold, raw, nasty kind of day that looks like it's developing on Sunday.
Long Island's not going to be a fun place on Sunday. If there's a northeast wind and temperatures in the upper 30s and on and off rain. I mean, that's just like, that's the definition of miserable.
20 to 30 mile per hour winds, probably, especially right along the coast on Sunday. So.
Giants are playing on Sunday.
Yes.
At 1 o'clock. So if you're going to the game, it's going to be pretty miserable. Maybe you'll get lucky and there won't be a whole lot of rain falling, but you know, if you're sitting out there with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, and if you're not getting rain, you're getting maybe drizzle or light rain. Not my idea of a good time.
They're actually calling this, believe it or not, a do-or-die game for the Giants, because a couple of days ago in the Journal News, now here's a football team, that lost 7 out of their first 8 games, but now, not yet, they haven't been mathematically eliminated, but somebody a couple of days ago in the Journal News did all the mathematical calculations and says if they run the table and win the final 3 games and end up 8-8,
right,
7 different other things have to happen for in the league. Teams have to win here, lose there, that they could conceivably still get into the playoffs, amazingly enough. So I don't know if you're a Giant fan, if you're really a fanatic, and want to call this a do-or-die game. The weather conditions are not going to be the best for a football game, but good luck if they still think that they're in it.
Yeah, no, yeah, no.
I said with Mike Gilliam, our anchor in the Lower Hudson Valley, I said, you know, if you go into the game, don't be surprised if it's like rain, but also don't be surprised if you get a couple of snowflakes or even a few pellets of ice mixing in with that rain, along with that gusty wind on Sunday. Really a miserable day. If you have a ticket and you plan to be out there, God bless you. That's only a real fan would want to sit through what's coming.
The Jets are playing tomorrow, but I don't know where they're playing. Let me just check.
Does anybody care where the Jets are playing anymore?
I'm sorry. There's always someone that cares.
I don't want to get the Jet fans now all upset at me here.
All right, so the Jets are playing at home.
The Packers.
They're at home, and they're playing the Houston Texans tomorrow.
Wait a minute. How's that possible? They're playing at home on Sunday.
No, Saturday. Giants are playing Sunday at home. The Jets are playing Saturday at home. That's why they're playing Saturday.
Oh, really? So they're playing tomorrow?
Yes, 4:30.
Oh, well, the Jets are going to get the better end of things in terms of weather.
Yeah, I mean they should be fine. Probably be fine tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening.
How would you like to be the guys, the groundskeepers? Because they have to turn everything green for the Jets tomorrow in that ballpark, and then they have to, after the game, they have to somehow take all the green down and put everything up in blue for the Giants. And they have to put the on the grass the Jet logo and the Giant logo on Sunday. It's crazy.
Well,
are you sure they're playing at home on Sunday?
I just looked, Saturday? Joe. Jets. Yeah, it's on the internet. It has to be true. Okay. So Houston Titans at New York Jets, 4:30 p.m. Saturday.
Right.
Sunday, that's the 23rd.
Right.
You got Packers Jets, and on the 30th you got Jets Patriots.
Okay, I believe you.
All right.
So
let's leave it there. It's coming up on almost 10 to the hour, and we got to go. So everybody, make sure you tune in to FiOS 1 News, Long Island and New Jersey at the top of the hour with myself. And
if you are on the your Verizon FiOS system that carries the Lower Hudson Valley weather, I will be there at 10 o'clock. And I want to thank all of you for watching, as opposed to watching the colorized version of the Dick Van Dyke Show, which is running right now.
There's so much sacrilege going on CBS at the moment with what they did with the colorized. They were done in black and white. Movies were shot in black and white for a reason. The artists, the producers, the director, they wanted it done in black and white, and that's the way they should be. They should not be colorized because People don't understand, you know, the concept of black and white and the symbolism that goes with it.
Carl Reiner, in an interview, they asked him just a few days ago in a newspaper interview, they said, he said, we were actually told we could make the shows that are running tonight in color right from the start. He said, but that would have cost an extra $6,000 per show, and the money that they saved by not doing that, they gave to the people who worked on the show. A little extra money.
Well, they made those choices. It used to be, you know, it used to be cost prohibitive to do things in color. That was one of the considerations. But then there was a period of time where the reverse happened, where it actually cost money to do movies in black and white versus doing them in color.
Right.
And in those instances, then it was really, you know, the director's decision to decide that, you know, there were a number of movies that were done in the 60s and the, you know, early 70s that were deliberately done in black and white because that's what that was the creative decision.
And interestingly,
I just don't, you know, the shows are classic because they were shot a certain way, and I just don't like that they mess with them.
Superman, which we grew up with, George
was
Reeves,
both.
It started out as black and white. They went to color, but they went to color even though they played in black and white. They said, no, we're going to film it in color, and when color becomes more ubiquitous, then it'll get even better ratings. When it comes out, we can say it's in color. And that was a
good bet.
Yep.
Then there was Bewitched, which did their first season in black and white, and then went to color.
Right.
Their first couple of seasons, I think.
Or Hazel.
And Hazel.
Hazel started the very first episode of Hazel, the pilot episode, was in color, but then they went to black and white. The color was kind of.
And then they went back to color.
And they went back to color.
All right.
Just have to do it well.
I don't know. We just get on we get on these wonderful tangents. It's 9:51. Have a good night, everybody. I'll be doing stuff over the weekend. And by the way, if you do have the Android app, you can watch not only my YouTube live streams on it, but you can also watch the Joe and Joe Show, which I will put on the Android app in just a little while in case you're a latecomer or you missed the beginning, or if you miss it one night and you just want to, you know, catch up. It'll be on the app as well. So the link is up there on the descriptor to tonight's live stream. Thanks very much for being here.
And you don't want to miss next week, because as we close it on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we'll be zeroing in and seeing what the weather will be like for all of you travelers and all of you traditionalists as to whether or not we are going to see a white Christmas.
All right. Yeah, we didn't have time to get to it. Get to the White Christmas long range angle tonight.
We had to talk about Hazel
we had to talk about Hazel, Lucy, Dick Van Dyke, and more. Have a great night, everybody. We had a good weekend, and we'll see you on. Joe and I will see you on Monday. I'll be doing stuff over the weekend, either on YouTube or Facebook. So I'm everywhere. Bye.
Bye.